My fireball skill suddenly became sentient. Not only did it awaken its own consciousness, but it even called me a completely useless trash mage. Then, in order to become stronger, it chose to run away from home and level up on its own. It thought I would cry and beg it to stay, but instead, I was absolutely thrilled. After all, my mother ran the largest potion corporation in the city, while my father was the city defense commander known as the Thunder Berserker God of War. Why would I not happily live as a carefree, rich second-generation heir and lie flat? However, what I never expected was that only 1 hour later, my status panel began flooding me with notifications. My skill, Fireball, has traveled a long distance and arrived at the fresh green plains in the southern outskirts of Shanghai City. Warning: enemy encountered ahead. A level 1 prairie rabbit has been discovered eating grass. When it saw the rabbit, Fireball immediately sneered. "That's it? You call this trash a monster? Are you trying to make me laugh?" The next second, Fireball attacked in fury. It struck the prairie rabbit directly in the front teeth. Kill confirmed. Experience gained, 5. Skill proficiency gained, 1. But Fireball was far from satisfied. It believed that the experience given by such a weak monster was an insult to its noble identity. It was already accelerating toward a stronger opponent. Then it roared, "I want to fight 10 at once." Looking at the battle records appearing line after line on my panel, I fell into deep thought. This meant that even though Fireball had apparently run away from home, it was still part of my skill system. I could stay at home while experience fell from the sky. As long as my skill worked hard enough, my level and proficiency would keep rising even while I slept in bed. The most ridiculous part was that my skill had its own brain. It was even better at killing monsters than its owner. Thinking of that, I comfortably lay back down and raised my pillow a little higher. I had planned to continue lying around and enjoy the show, but the next system notification left me completely stunned. Due to your skill's heaven-defying comprehension, it has independently deduced and evolved an advanced skill. Advanced skill. Multiple explosive fireballs. It can instantly split into 15 fireballs for area-covering bombardment, creating secondary explosive damage after impact. Holy crap, that works too? I shot upright from my bed. Multiple explosive fireballs might have only been an entry-level skill, but it involved elemental splitting and secondary detonation techniques. Even flame mages who specialized in fire element skills could not necessarily comprehend it in one attempt. And I was just a basic whiteboard mage with no elemental specialization. This was completely insane. I could not help imagining the future. Once the time came for me to learn my second basic skill, what would happen if I chose Waterblade? Would it decide the skill was too weak, then grind itself into a tsunami spell? And if I learned Earth Escape, would it think the defense was not tough enough and evolve into absolute defense? If every element's skills became this obsessed with self-improvement, would this so-called whiteboard mage eventually turn into an all-element forbidden spell god? I sucked in a cold breath. This was the rhythm of becoming a god while lying down. Then another system notification made me both amused and helpless. Fireball believes the monsters of the fresh green plains are too weak. It is heading toward the higher-level Darkwood Forest. Message from Fireball. Go to sleep. Stop making a fuss and interrupting my operation. Seeing that domineering message, I finally accepted reality. Fine. Since even my skill was working this hard, how could I hold it back? So I yawned, adjusted myself into the most comfortable position possible, and went to sleep. The next morning, I opened my eyes groggily and stretched. That had been an unusually sweet sleep. Out of habit, I opened my class panel. Then I saw something that left me absolutely shocked. Holy crap, I really reached level 3? In this world, leveling up was not easy. Even a talented child from a wealthy family, supported by an entire team, might only reach level 3 on their first day. But me, I slept one night, I did nothing, and I directly reached level 3. My experience bar was even already 25% full. Was this the charm of fully automated grinding? However, the message in the final section of my panel quickly brought me back to reality. Message from Fireball. I'm exhausted, damn it. Whoever you are, hurry up and get me some fire element food to recover. Otherwise, I'm going on strike. Looking at that irritated message, I did not get angry. After all, even a mage needed mana potions when their energy ran out. And Fireball was helping me level up, so I immediately headed downstairs to the dining hall to find food that could replenish fire elements. But the moment I arrived, I ran into both my father and mother. My mother, Suwon, was originally about to comfort me over becoming a whiteboard mage. But as a sacred high priestess, she instantly sensed that something was wrong. Your aura, why is it stronger than yesterday? The next second, Suwon froze on the spot. Level 3? You said you wanted to stay home and live as a rich second-generation heir. Did you sneak out to level up in the middle of the night? My father, Lin Tianhao, was equally stunned. His eyes nearly popped out. Under my parents' shocked gazes, my heart skipped a beat. Damn it. I had been so busy enjoying myself that I forgot to figure out an explanation. Was I supposed to tell them my fireball skill had gone out and killed monsters by itself? Just as I was thinking about how to defend myself, my parents' eyes suddenly turned red. See, my mother said emotionally. Who said our mooer was lazy? This child is so sensible that it breaks my heart. He says he wants to rely on us, but he secretly spent the entire night leveling up because he didn't want us to worry. As for why I had risen to level 3 overnight, they did not find it strange at all. They gave me spending money in stacks. They assumed I had simply paid a few high-level professionals to carry me while I leveled. It was extravagant, sure, but for the Lin family, was that even a problem? Good child, Lin Tianhao patted my shoulder emotionally. With that kind of determination, Dad is satisfied. Since you want to train, Dad will support you fully. Then he waved toward the door. Hong Yu! The instant he called out, a sharp and heroic-looking woman pushed open the door and entered. Since you want to level up, don't sneak around outside by yourself. It's too dangerous. After breakfast, Hong Yu will take you into the wilderness. You can level however much you want, but safety comes first. I glanced at the newcomer. I knew her fairly well. She was Ye Hong Yu, my father's loyal subordinate, and her strength was no joke. Looks like I really had no choice but to go into the wilderness now. I had planned to sit down and eat breakfast first, but then I remembered Fireball's message. Mom, does breakfast have anything rich in fire elements today? Like flame fruits or fire salt roasted meat? Su Wan froze for a moment. Then the smile on her face grew even warmer. She assumed that because I did not possess fire element affinity, I wanted to make up for it through food. Compared to natural talent, this approach was only a drop in the ocean. But my drive and ambition moved her deeply. Yes, of course we do, Su Wan immediately turned to the butler. Quickly bring out that box of molten salt flame fruits. Also, take out the flame rhinoceros tenderloin that arrived yesterday and have the kitchen prepare it immediately. As long as Muir is willing to eat, even if he wants a fire dragon liver from the sky, Mother will get it for him. 10 minutes later, plate after plate of valuable food appeared before me. The dense fire element aura even made Ye Hongyu, who stood nearby, glance over in surprise. After all, the value of this single breakfast was equal to an ordinary family's yearly expenses. I did not hold back. I picked up a molten salt flame fruit and threw it directly into my mouth. Boom! A warm current surged through my body. The fireball icon on my skill panel instantly became restless. Fireball roared, "Yes! This is the taste! I feel power filling my entire body. Where are those damn monsters? Let me out already! I'm going to burn them all to death!" The hand holding my stake paused. Was this little fireball seriously this violent? But Fireball snorted in disdain. Can being scheming feed you? Stop talking and take me to the wilderness. My sword is already starving for battle. After Fireball had fully recharged, Ye Hongyu and I arrived at Darkwood Forest. As we walked, Ye Hongyu skillfully pulled out 2 daggers that glinted with cold light. Young Master, to ensure your leveling efficiency, I will not join your party. Party experience would be split. My plan is simple. I will lure and control the monsters, bringing them to a near-death state. You will land the final blow. That way you can receive 100% of the experience. She probably thought I would choose to solo the monsters, but instead I agreed without hesitation. Not long after, we arrived at the territory of the Shadow Wolves. These monsters were level 3. Though not especially powerful, they were known for their speed and agility, making them extremely troublesome. But Ye Hongyu wasted no words. She shot forward with a sudden step, and her daggers cut a cold arc through the air. The next moment, a shadow wolf that had leapt into the air let out a miserable cry and crashed heavily to the ground. It was not dead, but it was in terrible shape. Young Master now, I immediately understood. An orange-red fireball shot from my palm, but at the instant it flew out, the shadow wolf displayed the agility it was famous for. Despite being severely injured, it rolled sharply to the right and activated its innate skill, Shadow Blink. That single roll perfectly avoided Fireball's original path. Yi Hongyu's heart sank. Damn it. It missed. As expected, a whiteboard mage's fireball had a trajectory that was too straight. It could not deal with sudden changes in direction like this. She was about to finish the wolf herself before it could threaten me, but in the next moment, something unbelievable happened. Ye Hongyu's eyes widened. The fireball that had already missed suddenly stopped behind the wolf. Then it forcefully changed direction. It made a sharp U-turn and flew straight toward the shadow wolf. Fireball said disdainfully, "You think you can dodge?" "Did I say you were allowed to dodge?" "Die for me!" The spinning fireball struck the shadow wolf with perfect accuracy. The wolf was already at critical health, and the blast directly tore it apart. Blood and flesh scattered everywhere. Ye Hongyu was completely dumbfounded. That was spirit guidance. Second stage? Spirit guidance second stage was not an especially profound technique, but it was still a precise operation that normally only high-level mages could perform. And the key issue was this. I had awakened only yesterday. A whiteboard mage who had not even changed classes for 24 hours could use pure spiritual power to forcibly bend the trajectory of a skill? No wonder I had not taken the agile shadow wolf seriously. I had not even bothered moving. So this was the confidence of the truly strong. Seeing Ye Hongyu stare at me in a daze, I called out to her, "What are you standing around for? Quick, bring the next one." Ye Hongyu forcefully suppressed the shock in her heart. The way she looked at me had changed completely. There was now a trace of genuine admiration in her eyes. Meanwhile, Fireball picked its non-existent nose and mocked her. If I gave her a 360-degree spinning maneuver, then finished it by drawing a heart in the sky, would she fall to her knees and call me God? Humans really make a big deal out of nothing. I felt helpless inside. This little fireball talked way too much. After an entire afternoon of slaughter, my fireball skill successfully reached level 5. When I returned to the manor, my mother, Su Wan, hurried over and grabbed my hands, examining me from head to toe. "How was it? Are you tired? Did you get hurt?" I shrugged and smiled. "Mom, I only went leveling. It's not like I went to war. How could I get hurt? Besides, Sister Ye was there. I was completely safe." Just as I was about to go upstairs to sleep, Ye Hongyu suddenly said something astonishing. "Commander, Madam, young master is the person with the greatest talent for magic that I have ever seen." The moment she said that, Lin Tianhao's expression turned serious. "Hongyu, explain properly." He knew Ye Hongyu well. She was straightforward and honest. She would never flatter her superior by lying. But strangely, Ye Hongyu did not answer immediately. Instead, she took out her phone. "Words are not enough. Commander, Madam, this is a video I recorded in Darkwood Forest this afternoon. You'll understand after watching it." Then she opened the video and turned the screen toward my parents. The dining hall instantly fell silent. Meanwhile, I stood awkwardly at the side. "Sister Yi, if you were going to record a video, could you not have warned me first?" After a long while, Lin Tianhao began trembling slightly. "That fireball, it used spirit guidance, second stage. And Mu was multitasking at the same time. He was even playing games." As one of Jianghai City's top combat forces, Lin Tianhao understood more clearly than anyone what that meant. "So I was never ordinary. I truly have the potential to shake the world." Suwan covered her mouth, and her eyes instantly became red. Feeling my parents' burning gazes, I sighed internally. Fine. A genius was a genius. It was not like I could tell them my fireball had become a sentient battle maniac. But just as I was about to speak, Su Wan suddenly cut me off. "Mu'er, your major entrance examination is coming soon. If you want to enter a top academy safely, you need to reach at least level 10 and learn a second basic skill. Our family has basic skill books for every element. There is Water Blade from the water element, Earth Shield from the earth element, and even the rare lightning element skill, Thunderstrike. Mu'er, which one do you want? Just tell Mother and I'll have someone bring it immediately." Lin Tianhao fell into thought. "Son, Dad has a suggestion. Your fireball accuracy may be incredible, but mages are still fragile. What they fear most is assassins getting close or distant enemies focusing their attacks on them. So for your second skill, Dad recommends the Earth Element skill, Earth Shield. It has the highest defensive rating among the basic skills. Learning it is like wearing an extra turtle shell. It can save your life when it matters." I rubbed my chin and thought seriously. He was right. Survival came first. "Fine, I'll listen to Dad. My second skill will be Earth Element. Staying alive is important. I still want to live a few more years and keep relying on you two." Lin Tianhao laughed loudly, not bothered by his son's shameless words at all. "Good. Since the target is set, leveling cannot stop." Then he flipped his wrist, and an ancient scroll glowing with purple-black light appeared solemnly on the table. "This is a dungeon scroll for the hard-mode Ghost Castle. I originally wanted to give it to you in a few days, but since your leveling speed is this fast and you have such incredible microcontrol talent, you can use it tonight. The dungeon is limited to levels 3 through 5, so Hongyu cannot accompany you inside. But do not worry, I already found you a team." "A team?" I spoke subconsciously. Before I could say more, several young people appeared at the door. Leading them was a beautiful girl wearing a pale blue mage robe. Behind her stood two boys and another girl. One was a thin, tall boy carrying a longbow. The second was a broad-built man with a giant shield on his back. The last was a timid young healer with twin ponytails. Lin Tianhao waved his hand and began introducing them. Mu'er, come meet them. This is Xia Qingyue, the leader of this party, and a powerful water mage. Xia Qingyue extended a pale hand. Hello, Lin Mu. Hello, Xia Qingyue. I shook her hand politely. We did not have much interaction before, but I had definitely heard her name. She was the famous cold beauty from First High School next door. Legend said her admirers could form a line from the south side of the city all the way to the north. She was the dream girl of countless boys. But I felt nothing special. I never took the initiative to pursue cold, distant girls. Too exhausting. Unexpectedly, Xia Qingyue saw that my gaze was clear and that I did not examine her up and down like other boys. A small spark of favor rose in her heart. Just as she was about to introduce the teammates behind her, footsteps came from the side hall. Young master, the equipment has arrived. Ye Hongyu entered while carrying a pile of equipment radiating a faint orange glow. The four young people immediately stared. That is the legendary purple cloud set? Even Xia Qingyue, whose face had been expressionless until now, could not suppress the surprise in her eyes. Was this the foundation of a top-tier wealthy family? The highest grade of equipment in this world was mythic. Yet I was a whiteboard mage who had awakened only 2 days ago, and I was already using a legendary set, the second highest grade. Was that not a complete waste of treasure? But I did not feel much about it. With Ye Hongyu's help, I put on the equipment like a useless rich kid who only knew how to stretch out his arms. It fits pretty well. Thanks, Sister Ye. Then something happened that nearly blinded everyone. I moved my arms slightly and the dazzling mage robe transformed into tiny points of starlight before sinking into my body. My appearance instantly returned to my usual casual clothes. Ignoring everyone's stunned expressions, I excitedly opened my panel. The next second, I took a sharp breath. After glancing at the attributes of the purple cloud set, I had only one thought. This was ridiculously overpowered. The set did not have any fancy effects. It focused on one thing: raw, simple power. Cooldown reduction. The robe reduced cooldowns by 10%, the boots reduced cooldowns by 10%, the necklace reduced cooldowns by 15%. Then, with the extra effect activated by the full set, my total cooldown reduction reached a terrifying 60%. What did that mean? My fireball, which originally had a cooldown of 3 seconds, could now be launched every 1.2 seconds. And multiple explosive fireballs, which originally had a long 15-second cooldown, could now be cast once every 6 seconds. Top-tier equipment really was incredible. It was way too good. Standing in the distance, Zhang Kai and Wang Meng exchanged glances. They were incredibly jealous. Was this the real skill of being born into the right family? Some people were born in Rome. What use was such powerful equipment on a whiteboard mage other than looking good? But none of their subtle expressions escaped Lin Tianhao's eyes. As a god of war who had fought through mountains of corpses and seas of blood, his understanding of human nature was already terrifyingly sharp. He saw the jealousy in Zhang Kai's eyes. He saw the envy in Wang Meng's face, and he saw the contempt they secretly held toward me. He pulled me aside and lowered his voice. For the first time, his tone became exceptionally serious. Son, remember this. Our family supplied this dungeon scroll, and we paid them well. You are the boss, they are the hired workers. In this world, whether outside the city or inside a dungeon, people can die. It is a battlefield. Human nature cannot endure tests. When danger becomes extreme, a person's instinct is always to save themselves first. They may even become interested in your equipment because of jealousy and greed. As he said this, Lin Tianhao glanced back at the four young people. His voice grew louder without him even noticing. Once you enter the dungeon, if anyone dares order you around, speak sarcastically to you, or make you feel wronged, tell Dad when you come back. I'll tear their mouths apart. His anger startled all four of them into taking a step back. I could not help smiling helplessly. Why was this starting to feel like a mafia operation? Then Lin Tianhao turned to Ye Hongyu. Hongyu, after you bring them to the dungeon entrance, guard outside. If any of them disrespect Mu'er on the way, you may deal with them yourself. Understood. A cold light flashed through Ye Hongyu's eyes as she swept her gaze across Zhang Kai and the others. Zhang Kai and Wang Meng felt a chill run down their necks. Even Xia Qingyue's expression became tense. Enough, Sister Yi. Stop scaring them. I waved my hand and headed outside first. Come on, everyone. Let's not waste time. Yes, young Master Lin. Zhang Kai and Wang Meng immediately hurried after me like two loyal lackeys. I walked in front, leading the group toward the villa gate. What happened next left the four of them stunned once again. The rows of maids waiting on both sides of the villa suddenly bowed at a perfect 90-degree angle. "Young master, travel safely. Young master, please take care. May young master return in victory." The perfectly synchronized chorus startled all four of them. Was this what a wealthy family was like? This level of spectacle was terrifying. An hour later, our luxury car stopped at a desolate field of jagged rocks. "Young master, we have arrived." Ye Hongyu walked around the front of the car and respectfully opened the door for me. I stepped out and looked around. Ye Hongyu took out the ancient scroll and confirmed that the coordinates were correct. As the scroll burned into ashes, the air ahead shook violently. A spatial crack glowing with purple light tore open. This was the dungeon entrance. Ye Hongyu turned to me. "Young master, although this is a trained party, dungeon conditions can change at any moment. Be careful in everything you do. If you encounter danger, do not force yourself. Survival comes first." I nodded. "Don't worry, Sister Ye. I'll take care of myself." Then Ye Hongyu looked toward Xia Qingyue and the others again. "All of you heard that clearly. You took the Lin family's money and accepted the Lin family's task. You will protect the young master even if it costs you your lives. If the young master comes out missing even one piece of skin, yes, Sister Ye, don't worry. We will protect young Master Lin with our lives." Zhang Kai and Wang Meng nodded frantically, practically ready to swear an oath on the spot. Even Xia Qingyue, who had always remained aloof, nodded seriously. "Please rest assured, as the team leader, I will be responsible for every team member's safety." After a dizzying sensation of spinning through space, I opened my eyes. Before me was the corridor of a sinister ancient castle. The walls were built with blackened green stone bricks covered in withered vines and moss that gave off a bloody stench. Every few meters along both sides of the hallway hung a skull-shaped lamp with a vicious design. This dungeon is seriously creepy. I shivered and looked around. At the same moment, Fireball became active again. This counts as fire? Blue, cold, and dead. This is an insult to the dignity of flames. I am the true fire element. I am light. I am heat. These trash flames pretending to be fire make me sick. Status updated, Furious Evolver. Fireball has sworn to burn every fake flame in this place. Current mood, violent, with killing intent, overflowing. Damage against undead-type monsters increased by 100%. The corner of my mouth twitched. This could make it angry too? Was my fireball some kind of racist? It saw a flame in the wrong color and immediately wanted to erase it? But there was one thing I still could not understand. Why could this little fireball constantly add damage buffs to itself? Was it because my looks were as handsome as the person watching this video? Before I could think further, a soft aqua blue aura suddenly spread outward. Xia Qingyue had already entered combat mode. "Everyone, stay alert. This is a hard mode dungeon. Whether in attributes or combat skill, the monsters here are on a completely different level from wild monsters of the same rank." She quickly glanced at everyone and began setting up a tactical formation. "Wang Meng, take the front with your shield. Focus on pulling aggro. You absolutely cannot let monsters break through the line." "Yes!" Wang Meng gave a low shout and slammed his heavy tower shield into the ground. "Zhang Kai, stay on my left. You are responsible for ranged physical damage and reconnaissance. Watch the ceiling and every shadowed corner." "Understood." Zhang Kai drew his bow and cautiously scanned the surroundings. Wei Wei, stay in the middle. Keep shields on Wang Meng and prepare healing at any moment." The timid healer, Liu Wei Wei, nodded nervously and gripped the cross around her neck. Finally, Xia Qingyue turned toward me. "Young Master Lin, please stand in the center of the team." Then she turned to Zhang Kai and emphasized her words. "Zhang Kai, if monsters attack from behind, support young Master Lin immediately." Zhang Kai immediately understood. "Don't worry, Captain. As long as I still have one breath left, I will not let young Master Lin lose even a single hair." I did not care much about Xia Qingyue's arrangement. Instead, I took out snacks mixed with fire element essence from my pocket. "Fine, I'll stand at the back and cheer everyone on." But Fireball snorted coldly. "Cheer them on? Let this bunch of weaklings protect me? What a joke!" The party slowly advanced. The castle was quiet enough to be frightening. Only the heavy footsteps of the group echoed through the corridor. Then suddenly a faint sound came from the dark corner ahead. "Listen!" Xia Qingyue gave a low warning as light gathered at the tip of her staff. "Something is coming." At that moment, everyone's nerves tensed. Two ghostly blue flames slowly appeared from the darkness. Then, Under the weak light, we finally saw the monster's true appearance. Nether Spirit Cat, Elite Monster, Level 5. It was called a cat, but it was nearly the size of a cheetah. It was an extremely agile monster. To encounter an elite monster as our very first enemy made Jia Qingyue's face change. Wang Meng, shield up! It is too fast. Ranged attacks will have difficulty hitting it. Wait until it lunges closer before attacking. Do not waste your spiritual power. But before she could finish speaking, an orange-red light suddenly appeared behind the group without warning. A fireball the size of a fist shot past Jia Qingyue and Zhang Kai with an unstoppable, violent momentum. Young Master Lin, Zhang Kai shouted instinctively. Wait until it gets closer before attacking. From this far away, you'll miss. Against a high-agility monster, even newly awakened professionals who had changed class on the second day had almost no chance of landing a hit from such a distance. Throwing skills around carelessly at this point would only waste spiritual power. Sure enough, at the moment the fireball was about to strike, the Nether Spirit Cat flashed sharply to the left. The fireball flew right past it. Sigh. It missed, Zhang Kai sighed. But, in the next second, the fireball that had clearly already passed the target suddenly stopped in midair. It was as if an invisible hand had grabbed it by force. Fireball shouted furiously, Dodge? What the hell are you dodging for? The fireball turned around in the air and smashed violently into the Nether Spirit Cat's waist. Meow! The Nether Spirit Cat let out a shriek and was blasted into the ground. That fireball turned? Zhang Kai, Xia, Qingyue, and the others all froze. But before they could recover, another fireball screamed past their sides. Thanks to the Purple Cloud set's terrifying 60% cooldown reduction, Fireball, which originally needed 3 seconds to recharge, now needed only 1.2 seconds. Almost at the instant the first fireball exploded, the second one had already shot out. Then came a third. The Nether Spirit Cat tried everything to dodge, only to realize it was pointless. 2 violent explosions rang out. As the flames faded, that level 5 elite monster had been reduced to shattered bones and ash by 3 consecutive attacks. Everyone stared with their eyes wide open. That was it? 3 fireballs? Even Jia Qingyue looked completely incredulous. As a level 1 water mage and a top student who had scored full marks in theory class, she understood better than anyone what that scene meant. Normally, even a flame mage with S-rank fire element affinity would need at least 6 fireballs to kill a fully healthy level 5 elite monster. But I, a whiteboard mage, had used only 3. How was that possible? And more importantly, that terrifying level of microcontrol. Could a whiteboard mage who had awakened only 2 days ago truly do something like that? Meanwhile, I casually took out a bright red chili from my snack bag and offered it to them. Want some? It's pretty spicy. Only then did everyone realize something. I had been eating snacks while performing that ridiculous level of skill control. Fireball gave a cold snort. Shh. They're already scared stupid by basic operations. Wait until I use a Heavenly Maiden Scattering Flowers move. They'll probably wet themselves on the spot. I swallowed the pine nut in my mouth, looked at the group, and helplessly brushed away the crumbs on my hands. What are you all standing around for? Let's go already. This place is creepy, and I want to clear it early so I can go home and sleep. Hearing my voice, everyone finally woke from their trance. Right. Zhang Kai slapped himself awake. Young Master Lin is right. Young Master Lin is amazing. Wang Meng also scratched his head foolishly and started flattering me. I knew it. Young Master Lin's aura said it all. You're clearly a hidden expert. Those 3 fireballs earlier, tisk, tisk, tisk. That was art. Pure art. Jia Qingyue looked at me with a complicated expression. Originally, she thought this party would be a difficult journey while dragging along a burden. She had even prepared herself to rescue me at any moment. But now it seemed that who the burden was remained uncertain. Everyone, adjust yourselves and continue forward. Jia Qingyue quickly regained her composure. Although she was shocked, she was still the captain and had to stay calm. Since young Master Lin has such powerful damage output, we can be a little more aggressive with our tactics. Wang Meng, take the lead and speed up slightly. Got it! Wang Meng gained confidence and shouted loudly. But just then, Liu Weiwei, who had barely spoken until now, suddenly turned pale. She pointed toward the pile of bones where the elite monster had appeared. So many monsters! Everyone's hearts tightened. We looked in the direction she pointed. At the location where the elite Nether Spirit Cat had appeared, countless pairs of ghostly blue eyes lit up in the darkness. 1 pair. 2 pairs. 10 pairs. There were dozens of them, all nether spirit cats. Though they were slightly smaller than the elite monster from before, and were only normal grade monsters, there were simply too many. Then Jia Qingyue's voice rang out sharply. Do not panic. They are only normal nether spirit cats. Other than their numbers, their attributes are far inferior to that elite monster. Her eyes sharpened as she quickly gave orders. Wang Meng, activate immovable mountain and hold the front. Zhang Kai, suppress the left side with arrows. Do not let them surround us. Wei Wei, shield Wang Meng and prepare group healing at any time. Everyone, press against the wall and shrink the defensive circle. We'll clear them little by little. But before Xia Qingyue could finish setting up her tactics, a familiar wave of heat shot past from behind her. Another orange-red fireball flew straight toward the dozens of nether spirit cats. Young Master Lin, Xia Qingyue shouted instinctively. Was this young master too impatient? There were dozens of high-agility monsters. Attacking the entire group recklessly could trigger them all at once and cause a complete swarm. But the next moment, everyone's eyes widened as they stared at the fireball. The fireball shook violently. Then, in the blink of an eye, it split apart in midair. More than a dozen fireballs appeared instantly, falling over the nether spirit cats like a miniature meteor shower. That is... multiple explosive fireballs? Isn't that an entry-level skill for flame mages? As the top student she was, Jia Qingyue recognized it instantly. But no one had time to think. The dozen fireballs crashed into the cat pack. A series of violent explosions instantly shook the entire castle. Flames shot toward the ceiling. Then, more than a dozen messages appeared. Nether Spirit Cat defeated. Experience gained 40. Fireball burst into wild laughter. Ha 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 ha! How is my multiple explosive fireballs? Scared now? This is a technique I comprehended yesterday. Xia Qingyue quickly snapped back to reality. As the party leader, she had to organize the follow-up attack immediately. Stop standing around. Quickly support young Master Lin in clearing the monsters. Do not give them a chance to catch their breath. Wang Meng, finish any stragglers. Zhang Kai, target the injured ones. But in truth, they hardly needed to help at all, because my attacks had not stopped. Thanks to the Purple Cloud set's 60% cooldown reduction, this high-damage area of effect skill no longer had a long cooldown for me. Only 6 seconds passed. Then, the second round of fireballs shot forward. They split once again into more than a dozen fireballs in midair. Under that terrifying firepower, the battle ended in less than half a minute. Xia Qingyue stared blankly at the piles of debris ahead. She was too shocked to speak. In her original calculation, dozens of same-level monsters would have required the entire party to cooperate carefully and pull them apart for at least 10 minutes. But now, in less than half a minute, the world had become quiet again. Damn. Young Master Lin, Zhang Kai spoke dryly. Once again, everyone turned their gazes toward me. I felt a little awkward under their stares. I was only eating snacks and watching the show. This had all been Fireball's work. It had nothing to do with me. Xia Qingyue stood where she was, staring at me before finally asking, Young Master Lin, that skill just now was the Flame Mage entry-level skill, multiple explosive fireballs, correct? I tossed the last pine nut into my mouth and brushed the crumbs from my hands. Yeah, that's right. That skill involves elemental splitting and secondary detonation techniques. Xia Qingyue's eyes were complicated. In the end, she took a deep breath and carefully asked, Young Master Lin, may I ask something? How many skill books did you use to learn that skill? In Xia Qingyue's view, a whiteboard mage with no elemental affinity would find learning advanced elemental skills unimaginably difficult. Even a mage specializing in fire elements usually needed to consume a certain number of skill books to aid their comprehension when learning new skills. So she assumed I had used dozens, perhaps even hundreds of books. Was this the true foundation of a wealthy family? Skill books were incredibly expensive. Even an entry-level skill book cost a 6-figure sum in Dragon Nation currency. Before I could answer, Xia Qingyue quickly added, If you don't wish to answer, please pretend I didn't ask. But I scratched my head, completely confused. Skill books? I've never seen one. The moment I said that, Xia Qingyue froze completely. Never seen one? You mean you did not use any skill books at all? Yeah. I shrugged as though it were obvious. Isn't it just splitting it a little, then blowing it up again? Is that difficult? The moment my words fell, my skill bar began shaking wildly. Fireball could not listen anymore. Is it difficult? It's not difficult for me. I was the one who fought desperately to comprehend it on the plains last night. What were you doing? You were sleeping. Fireball looked at me with utter contempt. Showing off like this will get you struck by lightning sooner or later. Shameless thief, you stole the results of my hard work. Doesn't your conscience hurt? Without changing my expression, I replied silently in my heart. Shut up. Do you still want to eat spicy fire dragon stir-fry tonight? The moment Fireball heard that, it fell silent. Status updated. Enduring humiliation for a greater cause. Damage increased by 100%. Seeing that little Fireball had calmed down, I felt incredibly satisfied. I had to admit, showing off once in a while felt pretty good. Xia Qingyue opened her mouth as if she wanted to say something, but in the end, she had no idea what words to use. Independent comprehension was an incredibly difficult feat even for spellcasters with S-rank elemental affinity. Yet I, a whiteboard mage, had comprehended this skill on the second day after awakening. And judging from the proficiency of its casting, it was very likely that it had comprehended the skill on its very first day. Talent like that was terrifying beyond belief. Zhang Kai suddenly jumped up beside us. This is definitely talent. Absolutely top-tier talent. Captain, think about it. If he had forcefully learned it by consuming skill books, then even an S-rank fire mage could probably only split 3 to 5 fireballs when first learning the skill. Zhang Kai pointed at the countless scorch marks covering the ground. But young Master Lin just split 15 fireballs. 15! What does that mean? It means young Master Lin's understanding of this skill has already reached the state of perfect mastery. No amount of skill books could possibly create an effect like that. This is clearly an unprecedented, peerless, supreme, invincible, super genius of the mage class. Compared to young Master Lin, those so-called S-rank affinities should all go home and raise pigs. After hearing Zhang Kai's speech, Xia Qingyue suddenly felt a little embarrassed. S-rank affinities should go home and raise pigs? Then what was someone like her, with ordinary water affinity, supposed to do? Go home and play in the mud? Meanwhile, Wang Meng and Liu Weiwei finally came to their senses after hearing his analysis. They looked at me as though they were staring at a living god. All that praise made my scalp tingle a little. Still, I had to admit that Zhang Kai was pretty qualified as a loyal lackey. All right. I waved my hand awkwardly and interrupted Zhang Kai before he could continue his flattery. It is not that exaggerated. I just got lucky. Come on, let's keep moving. The sooner we clear this dungeon, the sooner I can go home and sleep. Xia Qingyue also recovered from her shock. The respect in her eyes deepened further. Not only was he absurdly talented, but he was humble and low-key as well. This was the bearing of a true expert. Everyone, listen to young Master Lin. Continue forward. Xia Qingyue quickly gave the order. Maintain formation. Since young Master Lin is going all out with his firepower, we will advance at full speed. Meanwhile, outside the dungeon, on the desolate rocky shore, Ye Hongyu leaned against the front of the car. 5 or 6 cigarette butts already lay scattered near her feet. Half an hour? Ye Hongyu raised her wrist to check the time, her brows drawing together slightly. Then suddenly a rumbling vibration came from beneath the ground. A deeply oppressive and evil aura instantly blanketed the entire rocky shore. Ye Hongyu's expression changed dramatically. She abruptly raised her head and stared at the spatial rift. The dungeon entrance, which had originally emitted a mysterious purple glow, was now surging with an unimaginably dense darkness. It was like the eye of a demon from hell slowly opening. This is... Ye Hongyu's pupils contracted sharply. Abyssalization? How is that possible? As an experienced soldier, Ye Hongyu understood all too well what this scene meant. In this world, dungeons fell into 2 categories. The first were permanent dungeons, which were stable and safe. The second were temporary dungeon spaces opened through random dungeon scrolls. And temporary dungeons had an extremely tiny chance of being invaded by the aura of another dimensional abyss, causing them to mutate. This was known as abyssalization. How low was that chance? 1 in 100,000. Perhaps even lower. Zhanghai City had not experienced a case of dungeon abyssalization in 8 full years. This is bad. Young Master is in danger. Ye Hongyu's fingers trembled as she turned, pulled out her phone, and called Lin Tianhao. At the same time, Deep inside the ancient castle, the already sinister corridor was undergoing an even stranger change. The skull lamps burning with ghostly blue flames began flickering violently. Their flames changed from ghostly blue to dark purple. Something is wrong. Xia Qingyue, who was walking at the front, suddenly stopped. She stared at the churning mist ahead, then scanned the changing environment around us again and again. "Captain, what is it?" Zhang Kai, walking behind her, looked confused and asked instinctively. Xia Qingyue continued looking around, seemingly confirming her suspicion repeatedly. Finally, she said the words everyone feared most. "The dungeon has abyssalized." The moment she said that, everyone else froze. They all knew what abyssalization meant. Abyssalization? Zhang Kai's legs went weak. He hurriedly pulled out the return scroll. But strangely, only a faint glow emerged from the scroll. Nothing happened. The return scroll isn't responding. It really abyssalized. Zhang Kai's voice trembled, his eyes hollow with despair. Desperation spread through the party. Liu Weiwei, the timid young healer, had already covered her mouth and started crying. Even Wang Meng, the broad-built shield warrior, could not stop his hand from shaking around his shield. "What do we do?" Zhang Kai looked at Xia Qingyue, then looked at me. Before we entered the dungeon, the others had looked down on me. They thought I was just a burdensome rich young master, but after watching me bombard everything along the way, I had gradually taken Xia Qingyue's place as the person everyone instinctively relied on. "Young Master Lin," Zhang Kai's voice shook, almost breaking into a sob. What should we do now?" I looked at the dark path ahead and felt completely speechless inside. What kind of nonsense was this? I had finally received a golden finger after 18 years. Then, the first time I left home, I encountered a 1 in 100,000 event. My luck was truly something else. An abyssal dungeon was a place that normally required an entire elite team just to have a chance of clearing. Meanwhile, Fireball was greedily absorbing the abyssal energy in the air, trembling with excitement. This smell. This violent, destructive, corrupt smell. "It is wonderful!" Fireball burst into wild laughter. "Ha ha ha ha! Now this is worthy of being called a dungeon. The previous ones were just children playing house. I can feel my blood boiling. This is a call from hell itself." Current mood. Extremely excited. Damage against abyss-type monsters increased by 200%. Looking at this skill, which was clearly thrilled by the chaos, I could only sigh. So the stronger the enemy was, the stronger it wanted to become. Still, even with 200% extra damage, that did not necessarily mean we could defeat an abyssal dungeon. I brushed the snack crumbs from my hands and spoke calmly. "All right, stop looking like someone died. Since our retreat is gone, we can only keep moving forward." Xia Qingyue took a deep breath and gripped her staff again, her eyes becoming resolute. "Young Master Lin is right. Crying will not help. We can only fight. Everyone listen up. Shrink the formation and protect young Master Lin. We are fighting our way through." The path ahead was brutal. After abyssalization, the monster's attributes had increased dramatically. Their desire to attack had also become crazed. Monsters that once took only a few fireballs to defeat now required much heavier firepower. Fortunately, the cooldown reduction from my purple cloud set was absurd. Combined with Fireball's 200% bonus damage against abyssal monsters, we fought our way through with danger but without disaster, eventually reaching the deepest part of the dungeon. By then, I had reached level 6. The others had all reached level 5 as well. Before us stood an enormous black gate nearly 10 meters tall. Xia Qingyue's voice was hoarse. "We're here. The boss is inside." But before anyone could push open the gate, it slowly opened on its own. A terrifying pressure surged out instantly. In the center of the hall, on a throne built from piled bones, sat a horrifying figure. Abyssal Bone Knight Boss. Level 5. It wore ruined black heavy armor. There was no face beneath its helmet, only 2 clusters of flickering purple soul fire. In its hand, it gripped a massive greatsword over 2 meters long. Beneath it stood a skeletal warhorse burning with dark flames. "Intruders!" A terrifying hoarse voice echoed through the hall. With that roar came crushing, killing intent. After only one glance, Zhang Kai and Liu Weiwei found it difficult to breathe. They nearly lost even the courage to raise their weapons. Even Wang Meng, who had always been steady, was now shaking violently as he gripped his shield. Though it was only a level 5 boss, Its terrifying abyssal aura was countless times more frightening than any monster we had encountered before. But Fireball was wildly excited. Now this is a real opponent. Let me meet him. Xia Qingyue suppressed the fear in her heart, swung her staff, and shouted loudly, "Do not be afraid! It is only level 5. With young Master Lin here, we still have a chance to win. Wang Meng, move forward. Young Master Lin, get ready." But before she could finish speaking, I did not even need to raise my hand. Whoosh! An orange-red streak suddenly shot past everyone and rushed directly toward the Abyssal Bone Knight seated on the throne.